So, guys, today I'm going to read the chapter of the human laws, the laws of human nature. So, basically, it's the concise laws of human nature. Okay, I don't know is it different from the real one or not. So, please let me know. They are experts at scanning people's face for signs of possible disrespect or disdain. They see everything in relation to themselves. If someone has more than they do, it is a sign of injustice, a personal affront. When they feel this lack of respect and recognition, they do not explode in anger. Instead, the hurt incubates inside them, the sense of injustice growing stronger as they reflect on this. They do not easily forget. At some point, they will take their revenge in some surely plotted act of sabotage or passive aggression. Because they have a continual feeling of being wronged, they tend to project this onto the world, seeing oppressors everywhere. And this way, they often become the leader of those who feel disaffected and oppressed. If such types get power, they can become quite vicious and vengeful, finally able to vent their resentments on various victims. In general, they carry themselves with an air of arrogance. They are above others even if no one recognizes this. They carry their head a little too high. They frequently have a slight smirk or look of disdain. As they get older, they are prone to pick petty battles, unable to completely contain their resentments that have accumulated over time. Their bitter attitude pushes a lot of people away, and so they often end up congregating with others who have this attitude as their form of commentary. If you notice resentful tendencies within yourself, the best antidote is to learn to let go of hurts and disappointments in life. Let go. It is a better It is better to explode into anger in the moment even if it's irrational, than to stew on slights that they have probably hallucinated or exaggerated. You must break out of the resentful cycle by becoming more generous toward people and human nature. In dealing with such types, you must exercise supreme caution. You can recognize them by their history of past battles and sudden breaks with people, as well as how easily they judge others. You might try to slowly gain their trust and lower their suspicions, but be aware that the longer you are around them, the more fuel you will give them for something to resent, and the response can be quite vicious. Better to avoid this type if possible. The expensive positive attitude. A negative constricting attitude is designed to narrow down the richness of life at the cost of our curative powers, our sense of fulfillment, our social pleasures, and our vital energies. Without wasting another day under such conditions, your goal is to break out, to expand, and what you see and what you experience, you want to open the aperture of the lens as wide as you can. Here is your roadmap. How to view the world. See yourself as an explorer. Most people prefer to cling to certain ideas and principles, many of them adopted early on in life. They are secretly afraid of what is unfamiliar and uncertain. They replace curiosity with conviction. By the time they are 30, they act as if they know everything they need to know. As an explorer, you leave all that certainty behind you. Ideas are things to play with. You explore all forms of knowledge from all cultures and time periods. You want to be challenged. By opening the mind in this way, you will unleash unrealized creative powers and you will give yourself great mental pressure. As this of this to be open to exploring the insights that come from your own unconscious as revealed in your dreams. In moments of tiredness and in the repressed desires that leak out in certain moments. How to view adversity. Our life inevitably involves obstacles, frustrations, pain, and separations. How we come to handle such moments in our early years plays a large role in the development of our overall attitude toward life. For many people, such difficult moments inspire them to restrict what they see and experience. Instead of learning from negative experiences, they want to repress them. Your goal is to move in the opposite direction, to embrace all obstacles as learning experiences as means to getting stronger. In this way, you embrace life itself. Although adversity and pain are generally beyond your control, you have the power to determine your response and the fate that comes from that. How to view yourself. As we get older, we tend to place limits on how far we can go in life. By accepting what we think to be the limits of our intelligence and creative powers, we create a self-fulfilling dynamic. You do not you do not need to be so humble and self-effacing in this effacing world. Such humility is okay, okay, no problem. ठीक है सिद्धि मानो रखिए खाली मूड आटा से हाँ such Such humility is not a virtue but is rather a value that people promote to people to help keep you down. Whatever you are doing now, you are in fact capable of much more, and by thinking that, you will create a very different dynamic. How to view your energy and health. Although you are all mortal and subject to illness beyond our control, we must recognize the role that willpower plays in our health. We have all felt this to some degree or another. When we fall in love or feel excited by our work, suddenly we have more energy and recover quickly from any illness. We when we are depressed or unusually stressed, we become prey to all kinds of ailments. Our attitude plays an enormous role in our health, one that science has begun to explore and will examine in more depth in the coming decades. In general, you can safely push yourself beyond what you think are your physical limits by feeling excited and challenged by a project or endeavor. People get old and prematurely age by accepting physical limits to what they can do, making it a self fulfilling cycle. Those who age well continue to engage in physical activity. Those who age well continue to engage in physical activity only moderately adjusted. You have well springs of energy and health you have yet to tap into. How to view other people. First, you must try to get rid of the natural tendency to take what people do and say as something personally directed at you, particularly if what they say or do is unpleasant, even when they criticize you or act against your interests. More often than not, it stems from some deep earlier plane they are living. You become the convenient target of frustrations and resentments that have been accumulating over the years. They are projecting their own negative feelings. If you can view people this way, you will find it easier to not react and get upset or become embroiled in some petty battle. If the person is truly malicious, by not becoming emotional yourself, you will be in a better place to plot the proper counter move. You will save yourself from accumulating hurts and bitter feelings. From this more neutral stance, you can then try to understand the people you deal with and on a deeper level. The more you do this, the more tolerant you will tend to become toward people and toward human nature in general. Your open generous spirit will make your social interactions much smoother. The people will be drawn to you. This is why some this is why the same external events or circumstances affects no two people alike. Even with perfectly similar surroundings, everyone lives in a world of his own. The world in which a man lives shapes itself chiefly by the way in which he looks at it, and so it proves different to different men. And it's proved different to different men. To one, it is bland, dull and superficial, to another rich, interesting and full of meaning. One hearing of the interesting events which have happened in the course of a man's experience. Many people will wish that similar things had happened in their lives too, completely forgetting that they should be envious rather than mental aptitude which lent those events the significance they possess when he describes them. Arthur Stof- Schopenhauer. Arthur Schopenhauer. Confront your dark side. Okay. Chapter 9. Confront your dark side. The law of repression. People are rarely people are rarely who they seem to be, lurking beneath their polite. People are rarely who they seem to be, lurking beneath their polite, affable exterior. Exterior is inevitably a dark shadow side consisting of the insecurities and aggressive, selfish impulses they repress and carefully conceal from public view. This dark side leaks out in behavior that will baffle and harm you. Learn to recognize the signs of the shadow before they become toxic. See people's over traits, toughness, saint, saintliness, saintliness, etc. Okay. See people's overt traits, toughness, saintliness, etc. as overing up the opposite quality. You must become aware of your own dark side. Okay. In being conscious of it, you can control and channel the creative energies that lurk in your unconscious. By integrating the dark side into your personality, you will be a more complete human and will radiate an authenticity that will draw people to you. This longing to commit a madness stays with us throughout our lives. Who has not, when standing with someone by an abyss or high up on a tower, had a sudden impulse to push the other over? And how is that? And how is it that we hurt those we love, although we know that remorse will follow? Our whole being is nothing but a fight against the dark forces within ourselves. To live is to war with truths in heart and soul. To write this, to write is to sit in judgment on oneself. Henrik Ibsen. Keys to human nature. If we think about the people we know and see on a regular basis, we would have to agree that they are usually quite pleasant and agreeable. For the most part, they seem pleased to be in our company, are relatively upfront and confident, socially responsible, able to work with a team, take good care of themselves, and treat others well. But every now and then, with these friends, acquaintances, and colleagues, will glimpse behavior that seems to contradict what we normally see. What we glimpse in these moments is the dark side of their character. Oh, what the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow. The shadow consists of all the qualities people try to deny about themselves and repress. This repression is so deep and effective that people are generally unaware of their shadow. It operates unconsciously when we experience those moments when people reveal the dark side. We can see something come over their face, their voice and body language is altered, almost as if another person is confronting us, and features of the upset child suddenly becoming visible. We feel their shadow as it stirs and emerges. The shadow lies buried deep within, but it becomes distributed and active in moments of stress or when deep wounds and insecurities are triggered. It also tends to emerge more as people get older. When we are young, everything seems exciting to us, including the various social roles we must play. But later in life, we tire of the mask we have been wearing, and the leakage is greater. Concealing this dark side requires energy. It can be draining to always present such a nice, confident front, and so the shadow wants to release some of the inner tension and come back to life. You must become adept at recognizing such moments of release in others and interpreting them, seeing the outlines of the shadow that now come forward. The following are some of the most notable signs of such release. Contradictory behavior. This is the most eloquent sign of all. It consists of actions that believe the carefully constructed front that people present. For instance, a person who preaches morals is suddenly caught out in a very compromising situation. The strange contradictory behavior is a direct expression of the shadow. Emotional outburst. A person suddenly loses his on her or her habitual self-control and sharply expresses deep resentments or says something biting and hurtful. In the aftermath of such a release, they may blame it on stress. They may say they did not mean any of it. And in fact, the opposite is the case. The shadow has spoken. Take what they said at face value. Take what they said at face value. Emotional outburst. Vehement denial. Vehement denial.